This has been a big week with announcements coming from WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, cloud gaming, and reports. Two big trend reports. We are talking about news related to WhatsApp getting a payment service built into it. We are talking about Facebook entering the cloud gaming space. We are talking about announcement from YouTube officially giving you tips on how to use shorts and shorts video and many more interesting stuff. So this is the Connected Church News. I am Natchi Lazarus. Welcome, and this is the show that brings you the top 5 digital and social media news in 5 minutes. Let's get started. Our first big news is from WhatsApp. Last week, WhatsApp made a major announcement about their business app. WhatsApp has two apps. One is a personal app, another is WhatsApp Business. Now, the WhatsApp Business app is starting to get new features, including payments facility. So they have been talking about this for a long time now, and there have been lots of new additions and testings going on around the world. But now Facebook has officially announced on its WhatsApp blog that they are bringing shops, payments, and all these experiences into WhatsApp Business. So the plan for Facebook is to integrate shops and product related e-commerce features into private messaging like Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. And now this is a big step towards that. And as a non-profit or ministry, it's important for you to watch this space, because once people start transacting, then you can use it as a ministry for your organization as well, both for product sales and also for donations and so on. So check out these 3 big announcements. One is about the shopping experience, the other is about hosting services. Facebook is offering hosting services for businesses to host their chat and conversations and multiple other requirements technically, and they also say that they will be charging a fee for certain businesses and organizations to use this. So I will link to the details in the show notes. Do check it out. Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to encourage you to subscribe if you've not done so already, so that you do not miss any news update that we release every week. Now let's get back to our news item. Our next news is about cloud gaming, and there was a big announcement last week about Facebook entering the cloud gaming space in a bigger way. Facebook has always had games as part of the app, but now earlier this week they have announced that they are launching several cloud streamed games, and this is going to be available initially in Android and web app, and you can play with your keyboard and just the regular way in which you play Facebook games, but only it's getting bigger, and the user experience is going to be much better because Facebook is bringing in new technology. They are also announcing new ad formats and so on. Gaming is a big way in which people spend time on the digital space. It's a big tool of influence. So if you as a non-profit or ministry have been looking at gaming as one of the ways in which you can serve people, minister to people, then this is an announcement you definitely want to pass on to your media team. Our next news is from YouTube. Last week, YouTube released a video with tips on how to use YouTube Shorts, the stories version of YouTube, to grow your channel, your ministry channel. So if you have been wanting to try out shorts type of content, which is a short form content, vertical content on YouTube, then this is a video you might want to check out. There are lots of practical tips like using hashtag in the title and so on, which could help your ministry use shorts for engaging your audience on YouTube. Our next news is from Facebook, and it's an important one related to languages. As a ministry, most of what we do is related to communication and languages, right? You want to reach people in one location or maybe in multiple locations, which involves multiple languages most of the time. And this announcement from Facebook says they are introducing a new open source multilingual machine translation model, MMT model, that can translate between any pair of 100 languages without relying on English. See, so far machine translation has had English as the centerpiece. So if you want to translate 2 languages, you will go from one language to English and then English to the other language, because English data was much more solid and we had much more availability. But that also causes some gaps because each language has its own style and preference and so on. So now Facebook has announced that they have released this for 100 languages, which can be translated directly from one to the other, and this is made available as an open source. So, which is a big news for you as a non-profit or ministry if you are focused on this translation abilities that you want to make use of as a ministry. So, I will link to it in the show notes. Do check it out. Our final news of this week is about two reports that were released last week, and I wanted to bring them to your notice. One is a social media trends report, which has insights specifically from quarter 3 of 2020. You know, 2020, the two quarters, quarter 2 and 3 are crucial because everything shifted around the world. So this has details, interesting statistics about how ad spend went up and how people engage with advertising and so on. The other report is from Facebook, and it talks about the 5 global shifts that happened during the pandemic, and it has some very interesting insights into a behavioral pattern of people. So as a leader of non-profit or ministry, it's important for you to stay on top of trend and to track what is happening and what is coming in the future. So these two reports are talking about the future. I will link to it in the show notes. Do check it out. That's all I have for you this week. Thank you for joining me. Do you want to keep learning about digital and social media, especially for your nonprofit church or ministry? Then I highly recommend you check out this video, which has series of videos from a show called Ask Show, where we answer questions on digital and social media that are relevant to nonprofit churches and ministries. It's not just me. I also bring in guests and experts into the show who answer your questions, which are very important. You know, taking those 2 minutes to answer those practical questions can make a big difference in the impact that you make in this world as a nonprofit or ministry, right? So do check out those videos and leave your comment. Let me know what you think of these shows. I really appreciate it.